Hey, what's going on, guys? So today I'm going to be doing a review of my Scuf controller. I've had mine for 8 or 9 months, so I can give you a full long-term review on it. Now with this video I'm going to have some gameplay going. I didn't feel like just holding it and pushing the buttons for a 10-minute commentary. If you guys want to actually see what my Scuf looks like, I showed it in a review that I did of my Triton Warhead gaming headset, and I showed my gaming setup, so I'll put that video link in the description if you want to see it. Otherwise, the gameplay is pretty good. It's a 63-2, 6v6. It could have been a much higher scoring game, but we had people quitting out the entire match. So basically, after my streak started the first time, I was only playing 2 to 4 people the rest of the match. Anyway, that's not what you guys are here for. So with the COD Championship that just happened, and with people's interest in competitive gaming on the rise, Scuf controllers have gotten pretty big. So basically the question is, are they worth the money? I think I paid around 150 bucks for mine. Mine's wireless, which was 10 bucks more. And then with all the features, it came to about 150, maybe 160 with shipping. So I mean, that's 100 bucks more than a regular controller. Now let me go over the features specifically, and then I'll give like an overall analysis of it at the end. The 3 biggest features why someone's going to buy a Scuf is either going to be for the paddles, the joysticks, or the trigger stops. I'm going to cover these individually, so let's just start with the joysticks. You have the option of sticking with a regular Xbox joystick, or substituting for a PlayStation Dome style stick. Now prior to having my Scuf, I played with Control Freaks. I had a FPS Control Freak on my right stick. Then they had a smaller one, it was like almost just like a cap. It's pretty short, I don't remember what that was, but I added that onto my left stick. When I was running 2 long ones, it felt weird, it cramped my hand up. And since you only need the longer one on the right stick for aiming to increase your sensitivity, that was my setup. With that in mind, when I ordered mine, I just went for dome sticks on both. I've seen a lot of people where they keep the left stick like the normal Xbox stick, and then they substitute for the dome stick on the right. The dome sticks are a little longer, and the big deal with Scuf sticks is that they advertise that there's no slow turn. So I guess in a regular Xbox controller there's a lot of slack, meaning when you move your joystick, you don't get an immediate response from your character on screen. I play at a pretty high sensitivity. I know Black Ops 2 goes up to like 14 now, but I'm just going to stick with 1 through 10 because that's what I'm most familiar with. So as far as Call of Duty goes, I usually play it on like a 7 or 8. And when I have my Control Freaks on, that really helped me increase my sensitivity and get used to it. So when I got my Scuf, I thought I'd have to drop it down, considering the sticks are way shorter than having a Control Freak on there. But since the Scufs have an immediate response on the stick, I stayed at my regular sensitivity, and I got used to it pretty quickly. So they are just as advertised. The response on the stick is amazing. There's no slack or delay at all. As soon as you move your stick, you're going to get a response on your character on screen. As for just having the dome stick versus like the indented regular Xbox stick, I like it. It's not game-breaking either way. You know, obviously I played for years on a regular Xbox controller. Some people say it's less comfortable with a dome stick for sprinting on your left stick, but I actually like it. That way I don't have to feel like my finger has to be completely on the top and kind of rest on the side of the dome, and I can still sprint. And then the right stick for aiming, I feel like it's a lot more precise with the dome stick. Overall, I'm really happy with that setup. Now let's move on to the paddles. I know they have a controller out now with 4 paddles, but mine's just one of the regular ones with 2. As far as just being able to reach them, they're right there as you're gripping a controller. They're easy to reach and they have good response. Basically in Call of Duty, the knife is the ultimate weapon. All of us have lost those gunfights where you put 4 rounds of a SMG point blank into someone and then 1 knife to the pinky toe and you're dead. So this setup allows you to run your tactical setup so you can still drop shot and do everything you want to do with the right stick. And you can immediately knife too. This is what took the biggest adjustment for me to get used to. I still don't use my paddles really on a regular basis. I never panic knife. Like, I've been drop shotting and playing tactical for years, so I never panic knife. It's not a part of what I do. But when I consciously think about knifing, I do use the paddle because it's a lot faster. There'll be those times when I decide that I'm just going to run around and knife, or if I go back to Modern Warfare 2 and I want to commando lunge people. That's pretty fun. It's really fast. It's easy to get to. Much faster than taking your thumb off the stick and going for B. But having the paddle for jump is awesome. I'm sure you guys watch some of the COD tournament of pro gamers. Jump shot is like a very, very important part of competitive gaming or being a stronger player. So having the paddles there allow you to do all the functions for your character without ever taking your thumbs off the stick. I feel like the paddles are really advantageous over the regular setup. But like I said, I just don't ever panic knife, so I don't get much use of the knifing one. Now if you stuck with the regular layout and didn't go tactical, I guess that would allow you to drop shot or go prone with the back stick. I don't know anybody that has a Scuf that does that, so I don't know how it works. But if you're not used to drop shotting and you want to learn, leaving the controller layout at regular, that would make the paddle on the back for going prone. If you really like the default layout for knifing, like you panic knife a lot, I think that would still have an advantage. Like I said, you just never have to take your thumbs off the sticks. Now for the final feature I want to cover, that's the trigger stops. I mean, there are other features you can get. There's a bunch of different cosmetic layouts you can get, and the Scuf grip and all that. But like I said, I'm just going to cover the 3 main features why you'd spend $100 extra to get a Scuf controller. I'm sure you can find a regular Xbox controller that's been custom designed for a lot cheaper than a Scuf. So anyway, the trigger stops. This is by far my favorite feature of the Scuf. With your regular Xbox controller, it feels like you almost have to pull the trigger down more than halfway to fire a bullet. There's a lot of slack and delay in response in the regular triggers, and the Scuf trigger stops completely remove that. They give you a little Allen wrench tuning key, so you can tune it to the sweet spot. Now even before this, I had a pretty good trigger finger. I used the FAL a lot in Black Ops 1, and then all the semi-automatic weapons I usually like. I'm pretty fast with them, but the trigger stops will make you faster for sure. Like I said, there's no delay in the response when you pull it to fire, and then coming back up, it doesn't go all the way back to the regular setting where there's a bunch of slack again. It just keeps you in that sweet spot. So having the trigger stops for Call of Duty is awesome. It gives you that half a second jump on someone else with a regular controller. Well, those are the main features, so let me get to my just overall analysis and review of it. In general, I'm 90% happy with this controller. On console, I play Call of Duty more than any other game, but you do run into problems when you're playing other games. I was trying to use my Scuf when playing the campaign for Medal of Honor Warfighter. With the trigger stops tuned how they are, you're not going to be able to drive anything. Even in theater mode, I can only fast forward up to 2 times regular speed, and I think it goes up to 6 times. So you're cutting out some regular functions of your controller to have those trigger stops that are set up just for Call of Duty. Even when I switched to Battlefield, I wasn't able to fire any of the sniper rifles or the shotguns with my trigger stops the way they were for COD. Now like I said, they give you that tuning key, but I just find it really annoying to have to stop mid-game. Like when I'm playing a campaign mode and I gotta shoot some guys and then drive a car and get away. I'm not gonna pause it and stop and have to tune it. For sure, anything that has a throttle or requires you to feather the trigger in any way, basically your Scuf is just going to be for Call of Duty. So I would definitely suggest keeping your regular controller for playing any other game, and then use your Scuf just for COD, leave it set up for that. Obviously, if you're a Battlefield player and you only play Battlefield, you can tune it, set it up for that, and then you'll be fine. But if you bounce around from a bunch of different games, I would not suggest the Scuf as your primary controller. Other than that, I'm completely happy with it. I did get the Scuf grip, which is cool. I mean, it theoretically keeps your hands, a little more grippy and from getting sweaty. But if you're trying to save an extra $10, I would say you don't necessarily need to have it. Now, all Scufs don't have to be as expensive as mine. I went with the blackout buttons, which was an extra charge. I got the case. Wireless was $10 more. And then with adding the dome sticks on both, and then with adding the other features, it got kind of pricey. So if you're an avid COD player, and that's primarily what you play the most of, I would definitely suggest one. Now, I bought this thinking it was going to turn me into an MLG player and make me way better than I was, which is definitely not the case. So don't spend all the money on a Scuf thinking that you're going to get it and automatically be scumpy. That's not how it works. But it's definitely helped improve my game, and as you get into the more advanced styles of play with jump shots, drop shots, etc., it really helps out. Now, like I said at the beginning, I've had mine for 9 months. I got it for my birthday in September last year. I haven't had a single problem with it. Actually, I take that back. The up button on my D-pad is a little smushy. It's not always responsive, but how often do you really use your D-pad? Other than that, the sticks are just like I got them day one. Trigger stops are awesome, and I've never had a problem with the paddles or anything. If you have any specific questions, just leave me a comment or send me a message. I'd be more than happy to answer that for you. And like I said, if you want to see my actual controller and my gaming setup, I'll put the link in the description for that. Alright, I think I covered everything. As always, thanks for watching. Take it easy, guys. See ya.